You look successful, and you feel exhausted. Something about that mismatch never quite adds up inside you anymore. The image is polished, the calendar is full. The bank account whispers a different story underneath it all. You earn more than last year. Somehow the same tightness sits in your chest every quiet Sunday night. You are running beautifully in place. The scenery changes, the pace quickens, but the finish line keeps moving farther away. By the end, you will see the treadmill clearly. Once you see it, you can finally choose to step off. There is a quiet cost to always looking successful. It rarely shows up on a receipt or a bank statement. It shows up in the breath you hold before checking your balance, in the smile at dinners you cannot afford. The new car smells like freedom for 3 weeks, then it smells like a payment you forgot you agreed to. The apartment with the view feels like a rival on day 1. By month 2, it feels like rent-owning mornings. This is the treadmill. You climb, you upgrade, you adjust. Your baseline quietly climbs right along with you. Psychologists have a calm name for this pattern. They call it the hedonic reset, and almost no one is immune. Whatever you buy becomes normal faster than you expect. The thrill fades, the bill stays, the wanting starts again. You're not weak for this. Your brain is doing what brains have always done with novelty and reward. But knowing the mechanism changes everything. What you cannot see runs you. What you can see, you can finally question. Think about the last big purchase that was supposed to change something. The watch, the bag, the trip, the renovation. For a moment, it worked. You felt taller, lighter, more like the person you were trying to become for everyone. Then the moment passed. The thing stayed, the feeling left. Your eyes started searching for the next small upgrade. This is not a character flaw. This is the design of wanting, meeting a culture built on selling you more. The cost is rarely the money alone. The cost is the quiet attention the chase steals from the rest. You stop noticing slow mornings. You stop noticing the friend who actually listens. The chase narrows what your eyes see. Looking successful is a full-time job. Nobody ever told you that you had been hired to perform it daily. There's a uniform to maintain, a car that signals the right things, a neighborhood that softly tells your story. There is a schedule, the vacations that photograph well, the dinners at places with names you must pronounce carefully. There is a posture, casual mentions of busy weeks, the light complaint about how hard you are working again. None of this is evil. Most of it is human, but added together, the costume grows heavier each year. The strangest part is who you wear it for, not your closest friends. They love the unpolished version completely. Not your family. They were impressed when you graduated, and most have not updated the bar much since then. You wear it for a softer, harder audience. People you barely know, scrolling on couches, half watching, quietly comparing. You wear it for a younger version of yourself who once felt small. You are still trying to prove something. That is the root most people never name. Status spending is rarely about the thing. It is an old ache. Somewhere, quietly, you learn that being enough required evidence. A grade, a title, a price tag, a certain nod. So now you collect evidence. The receipts pile up, the proof grows. The ache, mysteriously, never quite gets convinced. The ache was never about evidence. It was about a small moment you cannot buy your way back into. You see this in the people who look richest. Often, they have the thinnest margins underneath the polish. The leased car, the financed renovation, the credit line treated like checking until one quiet month it is not. The genuinely wealthy person beside them drives something forgettable, wears something soft, talks about a book instead of a brand. This is not a rule, just a tendency. Real security tends to whisper. Performed security tends to need a microphone. The microphone is expensive, not just in dollars, but in the constant low hum of having to keep performing. You feel that hum. You may not have a word for it. It is why rest never feels like rest. Even on vacation, the camera comes out. The angle gets adjusted. The caption gets drafted before the moment is lived. The moment becomes a deliverable. Joy becomes content. Rest becomes a small project with a deadline you set yourself. This is the cost no one warns you about. Your inner life works overtime, keeping the outer life shining. Let us slow down for a moment together. Think about your own version of this, gently and without any blame. What is one purchase from the last year that was secretly about being seen by someone specific in your life? Maybe it was a coworker, maybe a sibling, maybe an old friend whose feed you still quietly check on weekends. If a sentence is forming, share it in the comments. Not to confess, just to name it. Naming loosens grip. Someone scrolling tonight, feeling the same tightness, will read your honesty and feel a little less alone in their chase. Now let us go deeper into why the treadmill is so hard to step off, even after seeing it. Belonging is wired into us before language. To early humans, being cast out of the group was a death sentence. Your nervous system still remembers that math. To fit in is to survive. To stand out acceptably is to thrive. When the group upgrades, you upgrade, not from greed, from an ancient quiet fear of being left outside. When friends move to bigger homes, your old home starts feeling smaller. Nothing about the walls actually changed at all. When colleagues travel further, your simple weekend starts feeling thinner. Last year, that same weekend felt like absolute heaven. This is comparison, doing what comparison does. It does not measure your life. It measures against a moving average. The average rises constantly because everyone around you is performing their highlights, not their ordinary, tired, undecorated Tuesday afternoons. You compare your full life, dishes and doubts included, to a cropped square of someone else's best moment. It is not a fair fight. It was never designed to be a fair fight. The feed keeps you reaching. Once you reach the level you are comparing to, your eyes simply find a new, slightly higher level to chase. The promotion that was going to fix it arrives. For a week, it does. Then the new peer group mirrors. The house you wanted becomes the house you live in. Then a friend renovates, and yours feels strangely dated overnight. This is a moving finish line. You are not failing the race. The race is engineered so nobody crosses it. That is a hard truth, but a freeing one. If the line moves, your worth was never tied to crossing. Your worth was never the car, the title, the square footage, or the carefully chosen restaurant on the right street. Your worth has been sitting quietly in the room the whole time, waiting for you to leave the scoreboard. Stepping off the treadmill does not mean giving up nice things. Nice things are lovely. The problem was never things. The problem was the job the things were doing. Carrying your worthiness. Carrying your belonging. Carrying proof you were enough. When you let things just be things, something quiet happens. The coffee tastes like coffee again. The sweater is warm. The car gets you to places you actually want to go. The home becomes a place to live, not display. Enough stops being a number on a screen. It becomes a feeling you choose on a Tuesday with no audience. You can practice this in small ways. Notice one thing you already own that you once desperately wanted to have. That sweater on the chair was on a list once. That mug was a small dream you barely admitted aloud. You are already living inside someone's old wish list. Yours, the version of you from 5 years ago, is impressed. Try just for 1 week to stop adding to the list. Start noticing the list you have already silently completed. This is not about scarcity. This is about presence. The chase pulls you forward. Presence lets your life catch up. You will still want things. You should. Wanting is human, and a life with no wanting is not richer. But there is a difference between wanting from fullness and wanting from a quiet ache no purchase has ever soothed. Wanting from fullness chooses carefully. It asks if this fits your real life, not the life you performed for others. Wanting from the ache grabs quickly. It promises this one will finally do it, though the last promised the same. You can learn the difference. It takes a pause, 5 seconds, sometimes 10, between the urge and the click. In that pause, ask a simple question. Who am I trying to become with this? Does that person actually exist? Sometimes the answer is honest and good. You want it because you want it, can afford it, and feel joy. Sometimes the answer is quieter and sadder. You want it because someone is watching, or might be, or once watched. Both answers are okay. Neither makes you bad. Knowing which one is speaking changes the shape of your week. The quiet cost of always looking successful is the loss of that pause, the loss of the question itself. You get it back the moment you slow down enough to feel your own life in your body without audience. The people worth keeping do not need the costume. They liked you before the upgrades and will after. The people who only liked the costume were never really in your life. They were in the costume's life briefly. This is the deeper freedom inside money psychology. The treadmill ends not when you out-earn it, but outgrow it. Plenty of people earn enormous incomes and stay on it forever. Plenty with ordinary incomes quietly stepped off years ago. The difference is not the number. The difference is what the number is being asked to do. Prove or serve. When money serves you, it becomes calm. It buys time, ease, kindness, a quiet morning, a small surprise for someone. When money proves you, it becomes loud. It needs witnesses. It needs receipts. It needs to be seen constantly. You get to choose, slowly, gently, which relationship you want with it from here. There is no deadline on this. Start with one small refusal this week. One upgrade you skip, not from discipline, but from curious indifference. Then notice what happens inside you. Often, almost nothing happens. The world does not punish you. People do not flinch. That nothing is the doorway. That nothing is proof that the audience you were performing for was mostly imaginary anyway. If this landed somewhere real, take a quiet moment and reflect on one thing you want to stop performing. Share it in the comments if you feel moved to. Your sentence might be exactly what another tired person needed. If this channel feels like a friend who sees the game without judging you, subscribe and turn the bell on. We're slowly building a quieter place to think about money, status, and what it means to feel enough. You do not have to keep running. The treadmill was never going anywhere. You always were, the whole time. Step off when you are ready. The ground is steadier than it looks. The life waiting there was always yours.